Hello everyone, so I hope you've been doing well this past month. I'm gonna set up my bullet journal for February today. So yeah, I wasn't really sure if I was gonna be able to film this month because my deadline is coming up for my bachelor's degree, but today I managed to squeeze it in, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'm gonna switch over to a voiceover again for the rest and then come back for the flip through again at the end. Alright, so as per usual, I'm using my lovely bullet journal by Arden Olive, and I do have an affiliate link in my description, so you can use the code Arden to get 10% off if you want to order from their website. And today I'm also going to be using their acrylographs. I picked out these 3 shades for the setup, and I thought they would just look really cute together. I wasn't really sure about what theme I wanted to do, but I ended up going for a sort of like floral minimal theme. And I really wanted to incorporate some different paper again, so I have this gray paper with a white grid texture. I got this from a shop kind of near me, but I'm gonna put something similar in the description. So yeah, go ahead and get a hot beverage of your choice, and let's get started. As per usual, I still have 1 more week to go in January, so I'm starting on the next spread for February. Now for the cover page, I had this layout in mind with a large flower branch. I didn't really think of any specific plant, but basically I'm first going in with the dark green to make some lines for the branches, and then I'm gonna draw a bunch of little stems where the flowers are gonna go. I really wanted to make a doodle that you could recreate pretty easily, and also something that wouldn't take too long to draw. So for the flowers, I'm using the rosy shade, and I just kind of scribble a shape, as you can see, so it really doesn't have to be neat. Once that layer is dry, I'm using the Tombow Fudenosuke to outline everything, and the reason I use this specific pen is just because it doesn't smudge on top of the acrylographs. I found that the Muji gel pen, for example, tends to smudge a little bit, so I really wanted to avoid that this time, but I think fine liners in general should work as well. But yeah, as you can see, I'm first going over the little flower buds and the stems, and then I also outline the flowers. I tried to kind of make the lines in one go so that there's some overlapping of the shapes, because I just really like that look in general, and I think it looks a little bit more interesting that way. Next up, I'm making a mini calendar on the right side, and I'm using the yellow shade for the weekdays, and for the dates I'm using the Muji gel pen. And February is just as annoying as January because they both end on a Monday for some reason, but I always just like to fill in the empty squares with a line so that the shape doesn't look as awkward. For the title, I wanted to use some of this gray paper, and for this video I actually cut out all of the shapes that I wanted to use beforehand so that it wouldn't take up so much time while filming. I also wanted to choose a bit of a different font for this month, so I'm using the small squares as a guide, and then I'm writing each letter in one of the boxes and then spacing them out as well. I feel like this makes the font look really clean, which was kind of my goal for this whole setup. With the yellow shade, I'm also adding some dots all around to make the layout look a bit more balanced overall. I also ended up adding a border at the end of the video in black, so you'll see that a little bit later on. If you've seen any of my recent videos, you already know what's coming up, so I always like to make some monthly planning sections on the page next to my cover page, because I just really like using my bullet journal more efficiently, so I kind of try to condense my spreads as much as I can. But yeah, like I mentioned, I already have these papers cut out to the right size, and here I'm using a glue roller to secure them to the page. By the way, this is also a great method if you want to make it like a quick weekly spread. You can just cut out the paper to the right size beforehand and then just keep it like in the back pocket of your journal to use later on for your spreads. Next, I'm writing the title of the sections in the same font again in black, and this time I made sections for my events, goals, freelance work, and priorities. And this one is actually new, so it's pretty much the same as to-dos, but for some reason priorities make more sense to me because those are really like the most important things that I need to get done that month. And then of course I also have my YouTube and Instagram growth trackers. Here I'm using the yellow shade again to draw some doodles into the right lower corner. just to kind of decorate them a little bit and also to tie them in with the cover page. To add a bit more color, I'm also adding a line next to the title in the rosy shade. I'm also giving the doodles a black outline because I felt like they didn't stand out as well as I wanted. Moving on to the next page, first I'm doing my habit trackers as always. So I'm using another strip of the gray paper for the title and again writing in black on top of it. And then since last month I've been splitting my habits into just daily and weekly habits because there are always a few things I like to keep track of on a weekly basis, but I ended up not really using the monthly habits as much. I'm using the yellow shade as a background for my daily habits, so I'm coloring in a row of 7 spaces for each one. Underneath, I'm writing the weekdays with the rosy shade, and then for the outline of the calendar, I'm using a ruler and the Muji gel pen again. And I didn't finish all the lines at first because I didn't want to smudge them, so I'm starting on the other 3 habits first while they are drying. Once those are done, I'm drawing the rest of the lines, writing the actual habits in black as well, and then again adding a line in the empty spaces of the calendar. For the weekly habits, I'm drawing a yellow dot in the front and then writing the habits in black. And then I'm also adding a circle for each week underneath, so I can fill them in once I complete them. I decided to just decorate the empty space on the right next to the weekly habits with another branch. So again, I'm following the same simple steps. First the branches and the little flower stems, then the flower shapes with the rosy shade, adding the yellow dots, and then outlining everything in black. On the right page, I'm actually including a different spread this time because I've recently been getting into the habit of writing down my expenses in a little book, but I wanted to have kind of an overview of my weekly spendings, so I decided to make this expense tracker. So first I'm drawing a simple graph where I write down different amounts of money on the left side, and I also split up the bottom line into 4 sections for the weeks. The highest amount that I'm writing here is my rent, so I definitely won't spend that much each week, but I just wanted to go up to that scale. Then on the bottom I'm writing down the 4 weeks, and I wanted to track kind of different types of spending, so I'm also including a little color code on the top. I'm not super sure yet if the categories actually make sense, but for now I have one for my groceries or just household stuff in general, and then one for my wants and one for my needs. So for example, if I actually need a pair of shoes or if I just want a new pair. And I think this will just make me a bit more mindful about what I actually spend my money on. I'm making 2 more sections on the bottom half for my Korean and art study goals, and again I'm using the paper as a background, and I thought it actually looked super nice together with the doodles in the end. I'm also decorating the right lower corner again with a small flower doodle. So yeah, and then lastly I'm making my first weekly spread, and I actually got inspired by a layout I saw on Instagram by Feather O, I hope that's how you pronounce it. So I'll leave a link to her Instagram page in the description, of course. Definitely check her out, she always makes super pretty spreads. So first I'm making another mini calendar on the top left side. For the weekdays I cut out 7 squares of the gray paper and I arranged them so that there are 5 boxes on the right page and then 2 on the left, and I just thought this layout was super playful and interesting, so I think I'll definitely do something like this again. Here I'm using my glue roller again to paste them onto the page. Then I'm writing the weekdays on the top in the same font that I was using all throughout the spread. And I'm only writing the first 3 letters and then the date on the right side, because I feel like that makes the titles look a little bit more balanced, because otherwise obviously they're gonna have different lengths. So this is definitely something I like to do quite a lot. Here I'm using the rosy shade again to add a line between the weekday and the date, just to add some more color and also tie it in with the rest of the spread. And I'm also drawing those little flower doodles in the right lower corner again. These were honestly super quick and easy to do, so I think that'll be super convenient for the rest of my weekly spreads. On the left side I'm adding 2 planning sections, one for my weekly priorities and then one for my goals. And I'm also adding a black border around these sections with a ruler again to kind of match the clean look of this whole setup. Next to the calendar I'm drawing another flower branch because I wanted to add another section right next to it, and there was just some awkward space in between. I'm also writing week 1 underneath the calendar for the same reason. And here I'm adding the other section, which is just for any notes or ideas I might have. I did have a little bit more space underneath my goal section, so I'm writing a little quote that says, "Be as you wish to seem," which I thought was just a really nice sentiment. And then lastly, I have this empty section on the lower right, so I'm just filling it with another branch to finish off the spread. I'm just gonna take this time to once again thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you so much for 4,000 subscribers. That number honestly kind of boggles my mind. So yeah, I'll keep trying to make more videos for you guys, and I hope you will continue to enjoy my content. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to join our little space on this platform. Honestly, the comments you guys leave are always so incredibly sweet and supportive, and they make me so happy to read every time. And that's really what motivates me to create and edit videos, even if life gets a bit stressful sometimes. But anyway, that's it for this setup. Here you can see me just adding the border to the cover page, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Alright, Alright, so as you saw, I also added a border at the end, just because I feel like it kind of ties in the spread all together. Like it just makes it a little bit more cohesive that way. And yeah, I wasn't really sure how this spread was gonna turn out at the beginning, just because it's a little bit different from what I usually do, I feel like. But yeah, I think this turned out super cute, and I definitely want to experiment more with like adding different paper and stuff like that, because it just gives a bit of a different texture, and I think it makes the spreads look a lot more interesting. But yeah, and then my weekly spread was inspired by a layout I saw on Instagram. I'm gonna leave all the links and stuff in the description if you want to check those out. I think this is super fun. I haven't really done a layout like this before, and I think I'm definitely gonna try and incorporate it later on in the month as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna try to edit this as soon as I can, and hopefully I'll get it out by the end of the month. And yeah, I hope I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!